So, I'm going to talk about another Priscilla Shire book that I just started today. I've only got through the first chapter, and it's called Life Interrupted. And I'm just going to read what it says on the back of the book. Interruptions, they're aggravating, sometimes infuriating. They make us want to tell people what we think of them, but how we handle interruptions actually tells us more about ourselves. Priscilla Schreier is a Bible teacher who enjoys bringing the stories of Scripture to life. She's also the author of popular books, including One in a Million, A Jewel in Its Crown, and Discerning the Voice of God. Priscilla is married to her best friend Jerry, with whom she founded Going Beyond Ministries. While Priscilla loves ministry, she prioritizes her role as wife and mother between writing and studying. She spends the majority of her time cleaning up after her three fabulous sons. And this is like my third Priscilla Schreier book. I'm going to probably go through her whole library of books. Everything she's written, I'm going to read. That's my challenge. But what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about chapter 1. And the chapter, I'm just going to talk about what I've learned from the chapter because she already has narrated, her first chapter in Life Interrupted. So just so you won't think I'm biting off of something that she already said and hasn't read the book, I'm just going to share what I got out from it. What I got out from this chapter is chapter 1, and it says, and now for something completely different. She has a scripture. And the scripture reads, for since the world began, no ear has heard and no eyes has seen a God like you, who works for those who wait for him. Isaiah 64:4. Fourth chapter, 64th verse in the fourth chapter. Well, what Miss Priscilla Schreier talks about in this book, she talks about what she calls the unexpected circumstances, the interruptions, life's interruptions. And she goes and she uses herself as example, and she talks about the interruptions that she's endured. She, creatively calls them interruptions, but you and I would probably call them as setbacks, disappointments. And she talks about how she had a job in TV, in television and radio. She even studied for that. And she ended up, jobs opened up for her in TV and radio, but the ratings weren't good. So she ended up not doing that. And these are in my words. And that she was dating a guy, and she thought that they would get married, and that relationship ended up ending, and that hurt her. And so we all can relate on relationships or who we thought was that one, and that one that we was going to marry, and then it doesn't work out. And then we're devastated. So that was a little heartbreaking that. So when she finally did get married, and she had been married for like 3 years, and she got pregnant, and they were so excited about the pregnancy, then she ended up miscarrying. But then later, she ended up having 2 boys. And so she had, this is what I say, bad interruptions and good interruptions. And then her ministry started growing. And then when her and her husband thought they were finished with kids, then she ended up having another child. And, that was a kind of an interruption as well, which produced a change as well as her ministry growing. And so she had mentioned in the book that she had given away all the items, the baby items. She'd given them away because she didn't think that she was going to have another child. But what I got out of this is God had another plan for her, obviously. And, things didn't go exactly the way she planned. It's like she said for school, she planned for that. She studied and she planned for that. So it's like, what should she do next? So that's what I got out of it, is that, out of reading this, I got really inspired. She's very inspiring.